Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
It's Friday morning, so you know what that means. It's time for Friday Live. Good morning, everybody. I'm your host, Albert Sharp, bringing you the inside scoop on today's latest news. People taking the train to visit loved ones this Valentine's Day will be facing difficulties. Via Rail has been forced to cancel trains across the country, this following blockades on railroad tracks nationwide protesting the Coastal GasLink pipeline. The proposed pipeline would cross through the territory of the Wet'suwet'en First Nation. Via Rail passengers will receive an automatic refund for any canceled bookings, and no new bookings will be accepted before February 18th. Where's the love? You know, not being able to get a train can get pretty stressful, not being able to get where you're going, get to your family. But if that stress is getting you down, pet a dog. Danielle Haddad tells us more.
In the midst of midterm assignments and exams, St. Clair College is offering a therapeutic solution for its students, says Gregory Lowry, mental health educator and counselor.
Why it's therapy dogs? Because it's proven, we know there's studies that done that just the act of petting an animal, petting a dog can bring our anxiety levels down and can release those endorphins, those happy chemicals in our brain that make us feel better.
But does the service have an adverse reaction to the dogs?
When they're at their homes, they can be their usual selves, but they all understand here that they're working. And so they cannot show any sign of anything. We've had people in this is called the Student Life Center, knock over tables and chairs, and all they do is look at the noise. They can't react.
Life as a student can be rough. Fortunately, St. Clair College provides this service every week on Wednesday from 11:30 to 12:30 during the school year. My name is Danielle Haddad, reporting from MediaPlex News. Back to you in the studio.
And on this day of love, philanthropy is high in Windsor, Essex. Local philanthropist Sam Sanjari recently donated hundreds of toys to the community. Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and the Windsor Essex Children's Aid Society received a number of educational toys in this donation. Sanjari said he hopes to inspire the community to give back and move forward together. Now talking about moving forward into the weekend, Zach, what do we have for weather?
Hello everybody, I got some good news and some bad news. What do you want first?
Good news.
The good news, please, sir.
The good news is it's Friday. That's right, we finally made it to the weekend.
Whoop, whoop.
The bad news is we're in the midst of an Arctic outbreak. Currently we are sitting at -14 and sunny. Now let's dive into the next 3 days. Saturday, a high of -1 with a mix of sun and clouds, with a 60% chance of flurries in the afternoon. Sunday, a high of 2 with cloudy periods. Monday, a high of 2 with a 30% chance of rain or snow. Take your pick.
Neither, please. Just some warm weather.
Starting with good news, and then a high of 2, but it's raining.
And an Arctic break, man, or breakout.
Zach, why do you never have good news? Why is the weather so bad?
I don't have good news because we haven't yet hit April.
Fingers crossed.
That's the weather. Stay tuned for weird news. I will be talking about people's unfortunate Valentine's Day stories, as well as Florida Man. It's coming up a little bit later. Back to you, Albert.
Now, while you may have some unfortunate news, Christian, I understand there's some pretty fortunate news over in the sports world.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Albert. Whoosh poppin', ladies and gentlemen. Let's tee up and swing right into the sports. Congratulations to our MediaPlex own Dalen Davis and Nicole Tam on being named the Saints of the Week. And a few days ago, your Saints took the W against the Candor Panthers with a final score being 102-69. Great job, Saints. Toronto Maple Leafs goaltender Frederik Andersen said he's ready to play again after suffering a neck injury against the Florida Panthers on February the 3rd. During Andersen's absence, Jack Campbell filled in for Andersen, posting a 2-0-1 record during his stint. After getting passed on at the 2019 NBA Draft, Terrence Davis took an invite from the Denver Nuggets to play at the Summer League. After scoring 22 points and hitting 5 threes in his debut, his agent Adam Pansak called. The defending champion Toronto Raptors were offering a fully guaranteed contract. This was Davis making it into the NBA moment. For now, it's your boy Christian Standard, and that's all that's popping in the sports world. Back to you, Albert.
It's Friday, and today we're talking cigarettes, hair, and more. But first, we're going to take a look at the crime of the week with our new friend from Crime Stoppers. Tim, nice to meet you.
Thanks, Albert.
And just so you can introduce yourself to our audience, take a second.
I'm Constable Tim Harrington. I'm a Windsor Police Constable. I'm the police coordinator for Windsor and Essex County Crime Stoppers.
Well, it's really nice to meet you and welcome you to the show. What do we have for this week's Crime of the Week?
The Crime of the Week this week involves a fire in the 1600 block of Tecumseh Road at Lincoln. On Sunday, February 9th, patrol officers responded to a fire there at approximately 7:20 in the morning. The fire was eventually extinguished by early afternoon. As a result of the investigation and the information gathered to this point, Windsor police officials have determined that the cause of the fire was arson.
Now, where can people go if they have any information on the fire that may lead to help the investigation?
People can help us out by calling Windsor Police Major Crime at 519-255-6700, extension 4330. Or if you want to report anonymously, you can call Crime Stoppers at 519-258-TIPS. That's 519-258-8477.
All right. And could you just take a moment to explain to our audience why arson is such a big deal?
Well, arson is such a big deal because, first of all, it's a serious offense. It endangers the lives of the first responders, being firefighters, EMS medics, police, and the public at large. It also does a considerable amount of damage to structures in the area. And one of the things that we have to consider too is a fire of this magnitude, the air quality. You know, people in the general area can suffer as a result of the air quality.
Now that is something really rough on the community, but I understand you have some news that's good for the community, specifically your upcoming game dinner. That's
correct. Our upcoming game dinner is Friday, February 28th, Wild Game Dinner at Colasandi's in Kingsville. And it's $50 a ticket. It's a buffet-style cash bar. Tickets sell out very quickly. We have a few tickets left. The menu is awesome. The menu consists of things like wild boar, water buffalo, venison, ostrich, and things of that stuff. There is perch and chicken and roast potatoes for those who don't want to venture onto the wild game.
But I mean, who wouldn't want to try ostrich? I know that's the one I've been pushing most. I want to know. I need to know. But thank you for joining us, Tim. We're looking forward to seeing you on future broadcasts, and we hope you enjoy the new position.
Thank you, Albert. Appreciate it.
All right, and whenever something does go wrong, it is always okay to call for help. And Ammo Dillon tells us more on that.
The Men Too movement is gaining more attention around Ontario, allowing men to openly talk about sexual assaults. The movement has been beneficial, helping men to come forward to get help. The Canadian Justice Ministry found that 13% of men are sexually abused, and most will never tell. The Sexual Assault Crisis Centre is encouraging men to get the necessary help they may need. Carol Branger, a children's program social worker, believes the movement will do more in helping men to come forward and get help.
Well, I think for a long time there's been a stigma, and I think that it's been in some ways harder for men to talk about it than what it is for women because, well, one, men are often the accusers in the things, and so, and there's sort of a stereotype, right, that men are supposed to be strong and brave, and those kinds of things can't happen to men. And so I think it's harder for them because it feels like maybe they're not somehow they feel guilt and shame around it because it's happened. And so I think when we start breaking through that and we realize that it can happen to anyone, and it's not about being strong enough or powerful enough it just means that there are people who prey on other people, and so we want everyone to know that they don't need to carry that guilt or shame about it, and then they come forward. And really, it takes so much strength to come forward, and I'm always amazed at the strength and courage when people come through the door to decide to work on it. Yeah. And so I think that when they get to that point, we want to be ready for them to come.
I know feeling like I couldn't get help would stress me out. And it's a good thing I'm not a smoker, but I have a few friends who are, and I'm wondering what they think of the new colors on cigarette packs. Ashley Golampur tells us more.
Around 4.9 million Canadians in 2018 are smoking cigarettes, and most are over 12 years old. The new packaging of cigarettes have plain colors instead of the colorful packs everyone is used to. They became mandatory in Canada in early November 2019. Asan Same is the shop owner at Park Groceries and Gifts in Windsor, and he's been hearing how unhappy his customers have been.
I actually personally myself don't know how the government came up with this idea or the health department, but I think to change the cigarettes packages to the colors, to make them brown, it's not really gonna help out or fly to make the smokers quit eventually, because I think the smokers are just gonna get used to it.
Common health effects with smoking include chronic bronchitis, emphysema, and can cause lung cancer. The warnings that are issued on the packages will not change, but different photos will be used along with new colors. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Ashley Galampur, and this is MediaPlex News Radio.
I remember being told that smoking was a bad idea when I was growing up, but sometimes we go through with bad ideas, like listening to what's going on in Tristan's head.
Welcome to Impulse, the show with no description because the topics are whatever comes to mind. I'm Tristan Zuderveen. It's Valentine's Day, Albert, and every romantic dinner has a little wine. In Japanese folklore, the greatest connoisseur of all things alcohol is the shoujo. These ancient water spirits are described as man-sized apes with long, shaggy red hair and reddish faces blushed with alcohol, often seen wearing clothes made of seaweed. If you can see them at all. Perhaps the most interesting thing about the shoujo is that they are invisible to the sober eye. Unless you are drunk, you cannot see this alcohol spirit. Much like any drunken frat boy, these creatures enjoy singing, dancing, enjoying life, and general childish behavior. Contrary to their general impression, they can be very wise. The shoujo are very friendly and gentle in general, and very rarely interact with the world of mankind. There are tales of them harassing ships that sail too close to their homes, sneaking aboard to steal their sake. Similarly, there have also been many tales of shoujo wandering around Japanese breweries in the middle of the night, raising the question of exactly how many employees sample the merchandise. At the end of the day, there is no doubt that the shoujo is an interesting spirit, to say the least. By the way, without the filter, why don't we use mistletoe on Valentine's Day instead of Christmas? Maybe we don't need it.
Ooh, facts.
You always have a good story to tell, and Felicia Guo has some stories to tell late night at the bistro.
Hi, I'm Felicia. Welcome to the Late Night Bistro. Few days ago, I saw a short video before I went to bed. It was about a short interview on the street. Go back to 17, or give you $1 billion. Which one would you choose? I choose to return to 17 years old silently in my heart. Why? Is it because I don't love money? Of course not. It occurred to me that the United Nations define youth as 15 to 24. Having just celebrated my 21st birthday, I have clearly stepped into the middle age. So now, I'm facing a midlife crisis. When I look back on my youth, I always have many regrets. I began to think, now I understand more of truth of life. Also put down those obsessions. If I could take my present thoughts back to the past, could I change many things and make them happy endings? Thinking about it, I really want to go back in time. I want to make all the right choices to prove that I'm living a good life with the standard answer I have in my mind. Maybe because my inner desire was so strong that I really went back to the age of 17 in my dreams that day. At this point, do you think it's just a fantasy story? No, you are wrong. Actually, it's a horror story. Because I passed through the high school math class in front of math papers make me feel deep despair. What are you thinking? Why would you want to be 17 again? Just cherish the rest of your life. Thanks Thanks for listening. I'm Felicia, and see you next time.
Now that's a night out at the bistro, but what about a night out in Hollywood?
This is V-Talk. I'm Vanna Mills, bringing you the hottest from Hollywood. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. First up, Robert Pattinson has traded in his sparkly Twilight vampire skin to live in a Batcave. The actor's new role was announced by the director of Batman, Matt Reeves, in a 45-second camera test in which Pattinson slowly enters into a dark room lit by a red light. Anna Kournikova and Enrique Iglesias welcome baby number 3 to their family 2 years after having twins. The pair made the announcement by posting photos to their Instagram early this week. Kylie Jenner dressed up in a red ensemble to step out and attend a Valentine's Day themed party Wednesday night. The star-studded guest list also included Diplo, Madison Beer, French Montana, Chris Brown, and Olivia Jade. Singer Adele transformed her body beneath all media radar. She stepped out this past weekend to give people a debut of her new body at the 2020 Oscar Awards after party. Now speaking of the Oscars, did you see Eminem losing himself on stage? Well, we know Billie Eilish thought it was weird by the look on her face during the performance. Eilish was recognized for many of her reactions that night, which have then since surfaced into memes and other sort of internet-generated content. She looked displeased in a photo taken of her when Maya Rudolph and Kristen Wiig's performance as well. Oh, Billie, don't worry. We still don't think you're the bad guy. And that is it for this week on V-Talk. I'm Vanna Mills. Check back with me next week for your fresh celebrity dirt.
And on an even lighter note than that, Zachary Balog is back with the weird news, Valentine's Day edition.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Today is Valentine's Day, and don't you just love it? I have a saying for this day: love is in the air, so is pollution. We've had these kinds of teachers, haven't we? For the sake of my grades, not here. This is from an unknown source. My high school English teacher was well known for being a fair but hard grader. One day I received a B- on a theme paper in hopes of bettering my grade, and in the spirit of Valentine's season, I sent her an extravagant heart-shaped box of chocolates with the pre-printed inscription, "Be mine." The following day, I received in return from my teacher, it read, "Thank you, but it's still be mine, us." If you're looking to take your sweetie on vacation to Florida, you are clearly not familiar with this show. Cue the Florida Man theme.
Florida man, Florida man,
does whatever a Florida man can. Look out, here comes the Florida Man. The Daily News reports that a Florida man robbed a pharmacy on a previous Valentine's Day and told the pharmacist he had a gun. He's probably thinking victory. However, unfortunately for the suspect, it was all in front of the pharmacist's trained fighter boyfriend. He was arrested. You can probably imagine how this is that turned out.
Oh, I know exactly how this is going to go.
He was arrested and has a new soulmate in prison. This story from Reader's Digest. Every Valentine's Day, our campus newspaper has a section for student messages. Last year, my roommate surprised his girlfriend with roses and dinner at a fancy restaurant. When they returned from their date, she leafed through the paper to see if he had written her a note. Near the bottom of the page, she found, "Bonnie, what are you looking for here? What are you looking here for? Aren't dinner and flowers enough? Love, Scott." Oof. If you missed this broadcast or just want to hear the weirdest news the internet has to offer again, tune into our TV broadcast, MediaPlex News Now, Tuesdays at 6. Albert?
Well, thank you, Zach, and that has been our show for today. Friday Live is a student-run production through St. Clair College, and we've had contributions from our producer, Brett Blake, Zachary Balog, Daniela Haddad, Christian Stannard, Amo Dillon, Ashley Golampur, Felicia Guo, Savannah Mills, Tristan Zuderveen, and our friends at Crime Stoppers. I'm your host, Albert Sharp. Have a romantic Friday, everybody.